Hello and welcome to another episode of Top Deck, the series where we take a look at some of the leading TCG deck lists. And today we have Riaz's list, which took 8th place at a recent WCQ, and he was playing Dinosaurs. An interesting variant on Dinosaurs, to be honest, because we've seen some sort of variations over the years. We had Yangzings, there's been some Dark Dinos, but this is very much a sort of pure Dino list, with just a few minor techs involved. So we actually have this list. We also have his first place list from an LLDS that happened before that. It actually happened before the ban list as well. So we'll go through this list and then we'll take a look at some of the changes between this one and the previous one. Then we'll go over the signing strategy in the rounds and we'll get his answers to some questions. So don't forget to like the video if you enjoy the content, drop a sub if you're interested in seeing more of this kind of content, and feel free to comment with any suggestions or ideas of things that you'd like to see from the channel in the future. So let's get into this list then. Triple Ultimate Conductor, double Coatless, and triple Oviraptor, double Giant Rex, one Gilosaurus, triple Babycerosaurus, one Jurakiela for the combos with the Miscellaneousaurus, 2 Ash Blossom, and 2 Ghost Ogre. Bit of an interesting choice here. Then 1 Dogoran, 1 Kumungus, 1 Gamma Seal, triple Lost World, and just the 1 Terraforming in here. Triple Fossil Dig, double Evolution Pill, double Call by the Grave, 1 Twin Twisters, pretty interesting, 1 Dark Hole, 1 Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Hornet Drones, and triple Rivalry. I think this is probably my favourite choice for this list, the fact that you're playing this sort of pure Dino build. So, extra deck, we have 1 Kagari, 1 Reaprodocus, 1 Pentastack, pretty interesting, lets you do some piercing damage, Underclock Taker, Akashik, Cerberus, Phoenix, Decode, Trisbana, and then obviously Lagia and Dolka, 2 of the best rank 4s that you can make in the game, and it's great that they're so accessible within this list. Ragnar Zero, Chambara, Nat Beast, because you can do some interesting stuff with the turning the 4s into different attributes I think you can do, and then the Omega here. And then in the side, 2 Trap Eaters, 3 Gammas and 1 Driver, triple Hatrunade, double Soul Release, 1 Raigeki, and triple Red Reboot. So that is it for the list itself. I will actually just bump over to the list that he got first place at the LLDS with here. So I'm just going to look through some of the changes. So obviously he's only got the 1 Gilosaurus now. He went down from these 2 that he had here. Same Kaiju, same hand traps, pretty much the rest is the same mostly. Obviously he had the access to triple Hornet Drones, and he had the Raigeki in the main. So he could change things up a bit. He actually dropped from triple Trap Eater down to 2, and he's not playing the anti-spells anymore, I think. In the extra, obviously he had the triple Hornet Drones, so you want more Sky Strikers, so he was playing Shizuku and Hayate as well. And then I think the rest is pretty much the same. He's got the Trishula in here too. So back to the, this is back to the list that he took 8th at the regional with then. Some of the more competitive events, so presumably the more competitive list where he's got the Call by the Graves involved, and the 1 Twin Twisters. I imagine that's just wanting to have Spell and Trap removal as a drawable card at some point. So let's get on to the siding strategy then, as well as the rounds that he's given us. So for a few of these at least, we're going to see that he doesn't want to go first. So pure strikers, he doesn't ever go first because he's either made to go second or he chooses to go second. He's putting in the soul releases and the Hatrunades. Soul release I really like. It's probably better in the mirror match for pure strikers, because it is a spell of course, but removing all of those resources can make it difficult for them to get back into the game. Taking out Giant Rex, Ghost Ogre, 2 Core Bite, and 1 Foolish. And then against Trickstar Strikers, just putting in the Raigeki, you don't want to be suffering from all the burn damage, and taking out a Ghost Ogre. No real changes there, to be honest. Trickstar Striker does have a bit of an unfortunate matchup against this kind of deck where they just have big monsters. And then against True Draco, so he does sometimes go first here, puts in the Trap Eaters, Raigeki, and takes out 3 Rivalry. Pretty interesting, and those are kind of going second cards, but I guess he doesn't care because the deck is slow, so he'll just use them all in turn 3 anyway. And then for going second, puts in the Trap Eaters, Raigeki, and the Gamma package. You can always bait the monster effects and then hit them with Gamma. Taking out the Call by the Graves and Foolish Burial Twisters, and Rivalries here. Obviously Rivalry doesn't actually do anything to them in this matchup. Against Invoked Mech Knight, so when going first, he's actually putting in the Gamma package and the Raigeki. Taking out the two of the Kaiju, the Kumungus and Gamsil, taking out the Slumber and the Ghost Digger and the Aeolo, so not intending to OTK here. Then, for going second, same stuff goes in, you just gotta get rid of the board or stop the Alistair from going live, but taking out the Ghost Diggers, which don't do an awful lot, the Twister, Foolish Barrow, and a Giant Rex actually there. Then against Altergeist, he never goes first in this matchup, but going second puts in the Trap Eaters to get rid of the Protocol, I believe, and the Red Reboots and Raigeki, and then sides out Ash, Kobai, and Triple Rivalry. So that's it for the siding. We've got a pretty interesting setup here for the rounds. So let's run through the regional rounds, and then I'll just stick the LDS rounds up as a screenshot that you can take a look at as well. So round 1, he wins 2-1 against 6 Samurais. Round 2, he had a loss against Pure Sky Strikers, going 1-2. Round 3, a win against Mech Knight Invoke, 2-1. Round 4, a win against Pendulum, 2-0. Round 5, a draw against BAPK Hero 60 card. Round 6, a win against Pure Sky Striker, 2-1. And round 7, a win against Trickstar Sky Striker, 2-1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins, 1 loss and 1 draw. Solid enough record to take him into the top cut here. We do actually have some details on these rounds, but I think what I'll do is I'll run through the questions first, and then go over the details of these rounds, just in case that's not your kind of thing, and you want to know some more information about the deck or the rounds. So we'll go on to the questions then. So overall, he said the event was really fun. He knew that it would be challenging as there were many good players attending. However, he felt comfortable with the deck itself. He decided to run Dinos because he really loves them as a concept. He's been playing them since the original Dino Structure deck came out. He does own and play other decks, but when it came to deciding what to play for an event, he wants to be able to play something innovative, and this build that he has enables his dinos to keep up with the meta. The general sort of concept or the game plan behind it is just to OTK. He goes second anytime that he can, and he wants to turbo out an Ultimate Conductor and go for game. If he can't, he at least wants to break the opposing board with Kaiju and with board wipes in order to make it harder for the opponent to recover. He can make boards with multiple negates or even floodgates, thanks to Lost World and Rivalry, and there are so many win conditions that he only bricks when he's extremely unlucky. As for the 2-2 hand trap ratio, he says that drawing 2 of a hand traps once per turn just isn't fun. 2 hard ones per turn hand traps just isn't fun, especially when you're going second, because you have that extra card, of course, you don't want to be drawing that for turn. The thing that he probably hates the most about the deck is sitting through his opponent's 15-minute turn 1. Playing 2 of each gives him the opportunity to have more ways to disrupt that turn 1 and stop it from taking so long, and then running any more hand traps puts him at the risk of opening hands without Dinosaurs, so that's kind of the big thing here. He chose these 3 Kaiju in particular. Dogoran is the obvious choice as searchable, and it triggers Lost World if he bricks. Surprisingly, he finds that he tribute summons the sky often enough when his opponent has the rivalry, when he has the opponent in the rivalry lock. Kumungus is really good because Giant Rex can run over it with Lost World available. Gamma Seal because Overraptor and Miscellaneousaurus can run over them with Lost World up. It's also just a bonus that the last 2 had the lowest attack, the lowest 2 attack Kaijus, and Dogoran happens to be a beefy 3000. As for running the 1 Twin Twisters, to be honest, he says that a part of him doesn't really want to run the card at all. He just needed to make sure that he had a main deck out to floodgate cards like Gozen. Even if it is a 142, many people run multiple dinos, Twisters, because Dino loses to back row often, and he doesn't mind hitting the dinos hitting the grave, but he found that with many hands, the discard 1 cost would ruin a potential combo, so it's a really weird one. He needs to play around with it more. He never needed it in the last format because Gohi was the top deck, but he'll have to see how it goes. You could definitely try out something like the just playing MST even. You just want a sort of generic removal that doesn't cost you that extra card. I guess sort of a 1-for-1 kind of thing would be fine, although you can't really put in something like Heavy Storm Dusters, unfortunately, because the deck just isn't slow enough for that. As for Rivalry in the Dino deck, I haven't really seen this a lot before, so I'm just interested to see why he wanted to run it. He said he really loves it. Alone is a massive pain for Invoked or for Sky Strikers to deal with. Mixing it with Lost World is absolutely huge. If your opponent doesn't have an out, then a lot of people just scoop, so setting up an Overtext alongside it is insane. Definitely a staple 3 of. Soul Release and Trap Eater are probably the most out of the ordinary choices within the side deck here, and then I want to know why he went for these instead of something like Typhoon and DD Crow, or maybe Ghost Spell, that kind of thing. He said Soul Release is a spicy tech he was testing out for the event. Banishing Ray and 4 spells is kind of a big deal for your opponent. Brings the game back to turn 1 essentially. He'll definitely keep running it if he has the space for it. He personally really loves the Trap Eater because it's a kaiju for traps. It's also a tuner, and it can make Omega really easily. You get your search off your Overraptor as well, which is kind of cool. You'd run 3 if you could normal summon them on top. Access to Omega lets him recycle the Miscellaneousaurus, and that can be really important for bringing things together as well. Pentastack is probably, I think, the weirdest choice in the extra deck. And he says that he really likes it because he can give Ultimate Conductor Piercing, which is another win condition. Imagine opening 2 copies of Lost Worlds. It turns a dead card into 7,000 damage, and then Pentastack for game. Also, you don't have to destroy the token to do the piercing damage, since you can use Lost World to pop a baby instead. As for something cool, so the Lost World here allows the Ragnar Zero to become a really nice disrupt, but he said that it rarely comes out. It's just sometimes you get those hands where 1 extra card will change it, and you have to run it in case of that. Otherwise, Lagia and Dolka are probably the main ones that he wants to go for. As for changes to the list, he has an interesting Soul Fusion list ready, which isn't Dino Thunder, but he'll need to test it a bit more. Hornet Drones is a really powerful card, and he's considering running Engages just to see it more consistently, in which case, probably worth running a few other targets, just so those are still live and relevant. Hardest and easiest matchups in general for the deck. Pure Sky Striker is hardest by far. True Draco is about 50-50, depending on the floodgates they run, and if he draws the outs. Altergeist is a kind of weird one. Any deck where Rivalry is a dead card against them puts him in an awkward position in game 1, as well as losing dice rolls and being told to go first. That can be pretty interesting. However, he says the mirror match is essentially free because of the way that the deck is built. As for shoutouts that he wants to make, shoutouts to the Brotherhood in London, his main locals, and the reason for his growth as a player. So congratulations, Riaz. Great to see you back on the channel. And a really nice looking list. What I'll do is I'll put up the LLDS victories here, and actually I'll take the spreadsheet you've sent to me, and I'll put that as a link in the description. So if you're more interested in some of the details of the rounds from the regional, then you can check out that link in the description. It'll give you the details of everything that happened in each of the games, so that you can get a strong idea of some of the strengths and weaknesses of this deck. But great to see it all, and thanks very much for sharing this information. Hopefully we'll see you again in the future. Thanks for watching this episode of Top Deck. If you have any comments or suggestions that you would like to make, leave them in the comment section down below. Check out the description for details of how you can get involved in this series. You can enter by voice interview, or instead you could just send all of your information over Facebook Messenger. Anything like that will be absolutely fine. If you want to see anything in particular from the upcoming series, then be sure to get in touch, and I'll see you guys in the next video.